Christmas Eve, 6:30 p.m. I pulled up to Derek's house expecting to pick up Tyler for our traditional Christmas dinner. Instead, I found my 16-year-old son standing in freezing rain, covered in mud and concrete dust, loading heavy rebar into a truck. No coat, no gloves, just a soaked t-shirt and jeans. The whole family was inside celebrating while my boy worked like a slave in 38-degree weather. I sat there for maybe 10 seconds, engine running, watching water drip off Tyler's hair. That's when I knew Derek Lawson had crossed a line he couldn't uncross. I'm Frank Mitchell, 52 years old, and I've seen enough in my time. 2 tours in Iraq, 15 years running construction crews, a divorce that nearly broke me. But nothing prepared me for what I was about to walk into that night. Let me back up 8 months so you understand how we got here. Tyler's been living with his mother Lisa and her husband Derek since our divorce 3 years ago. The arrangement made sense when Lisa remarried 2 years back. She's an ER nurse making decent money, Derek runs a construction company, and I was dealing with some serious financial troubles after my contracting business took a hit during the recession. My business went under 18 months ago, not because I didn't know construction, but because I refused to cut corners the way guys like Derek do. While I was following safety regulations and paying fair wages, Derek was underbidding every job by using undocumented workers and ignoring OSHA requirements. The honest contractors couldn't compete. That failure ate at me. Here I was, a Marine who'd served his country, couldn't even keep a business running to support my son properly. Meanwhile, Derek was providing stability, security, a nice house in the suburbs, things I couldn't give Tyler anymore. But lately, Tyler had been different during our weekend visits. Quieter, more tired. When I asked about school, he'd change the subject. When I mentioned his plans for junior year, he'd just shrug. 3 months ago, I noticed calluses on his hands that weren't there before, rough ones, like he'd been working with tools. "Derek's teaching me about construction," he said when I asked. "Hands-on learning. Should have trusted my gut right then." Derek Lawson never struck me as the mentoring type. I've known guys like Derek my whole life. They see everyone as either useful or in the way. But Tyler was just 16, and Derek was supposed to be family now. 6 weeks ago, Tyler missed our fishing trip because he had to help Derek with an emergency job. 4 weeks ago, he fell asleep during dinner at my place, exhausted. 2 weeks ago, he showed up with a bandaged hand. "Accident with a circular saw," he said. "Derek says accidents make you careful." That's when I started paying closer attention. Started driving past Derek's house on weekends, checking if Tyler's bike was there or if the work truck was gone. Started noticing that Tyler always seemed to be working when he should have been playing video games or hanging out with friends like other 16-year-olds. I called Lisa 3 times in the past month to talk about it. Every time Derek answered Tyler's phone. Every time he said Tyler was busy with character building work and would call me back later. Tyler never called back. Last weekend, I drove by Derek's place Saturday morning. Saw Tyler loading tools into Derek's truck at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. When I asked him about it that evening, Tyler said Derek was teaching him work ethic. "Dad, Derek says most kids my age are lazy. Says I'm learning valuable skills." "What about school? Basketball? You were talking about trying out for varsity." Tyler looked uncomfortable. "Derek says sports are a waste of time. Says I should focus on learning a trade." This was wrong. Tyler had always loved basketball, always talked about college. Now suddenly he was parroting Derek's opinions like they were his own thoughts. I should have confronted Derek then, but I was still dealing with my own financial mess. Still felt like I had no right to complain about how Derek was raising my son when I couldn't even provide for him myself. That guilt kept me quiet when I should have been loud. So there I was on Christmas Eve, watching my son work construction in freezing rain while Derek's family celebrated inside. The smart move would have been to call Lisa, maybe try to handle this diplomatically. But diplomacy goes out the window when you see your kid being treated like hired help. I parked the truck and walked over. Tyler looked up, and for a second relief flashed across his face before fear took over. He glanced toward the house, then back at me. "Dad, what are you doing here?" "Picking you up for dinner, remember? Christmas Eve tradition." He shook his head, water flying off his hair. "I can't. Derek needs this load moved tonight. Big commercial job starting tomorrow morning." "On Christmas Day? Dad, please, just go. Derek said if I don't finish this, I can't see you this weekend." That's when I really looked at him. My son, who used to count down days until Christmas, was standing in freezing rain loading construction materials because Derek needed him to, on Christmas Eve. And Derek was using our weekend visits as leverage to keep Tyler working. "How long you been doing this?" I asked. Tyler's eyes darted to the house again. "It's not what you think. Derek's teaching me responsibility. Mom says it's good for me. Loading rebar in the rain at night is responsibility." "Dad, please don't make this harder. Derek already said if you cause trouble, I won't be able to see you anymore." I felt something cold settle in my chest that had nothing to do with the weather. This wasn't just about work. Tyler was scared of Derek. Really scared. Not the healthy respect a kid should have for authority, but the kind of fear that keeps you awake at night. I looked at the house. Warm lights, Christmas tree visible through the window, Derek's family gathered around the dinner table. Then I looked at my son, soaked and shivering, hauling 40-pound pieces of rebar like some kind of indentured servant. "Get in my truck," I said. "Dad, I can't." "Tyler, look at me." I waited until he met my eyes. "You're 16 years old. It's Christmas Eve. You should be inside with family, not working construction in the rain. This isn't normal. Derek says normal kids end up working dead-end jobs their whole lives. Says I'm getting ahead by learning real skills." Derek's words, not Tyler's. My son was repeating Derek's programming like a broken record. "What about your grades? You were talking about engineering programs last year." Tyler's face went blank. "Derek says college is for rich kids who don't want to work with their hands. Says I'm not smart enough for engineering anyway." Not smart enough. Tyler, who used to build complex Lego structures and fix my lawnmower when he was 12. Derek had convinced my brilliant son that he wasn't smart enough for college. I walked to the front door and rang the bell. Derek answered, still wearing his Christmas sweater, glass of wine in hand. Behind him, I could hear laughter and holiday music. "Frank. Didn't expect to see you tonight. Came to get Tyler for dinner. Found him working construction in the rain." Derek smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Boys learning work ethic, something he was missing before. "It's Christmas Eve. Work doesn't stop for holidays in the real world." Thought a Marine would understand that. Wrong approach. Derek was trying to use my military service to justify exploiting my son. I stepped closer. A Marine also understands the difference between training and abuse. Tyler's not being abused. He's earning his keep. Kid eats a lot of food, takes up space, costs money. Time he contributed something back. He's 16, old enough to learn that nothing in life is free. Lisa agrees with me. That's when Lisa appeared behind Derek. She looked tired, older than her 45 years, like she'd been carrying weight that wasn't hers to carry. Her scrubs were wrinkled. She'd probably just gotten home from a 12-hour shift at the hospital. "Frank, what's wrong?" "Tyler's outside loading trucks in freezing rain while you're having Christmas dinner. Derek said it would just take an hour." She looked confused, like she genuinely didn't know how long Tyler had been working. "It's been 3 hours, Lisa. Look outside." She moved to the window and saw Tyler struggling with a steel beam that should have required 2 men to lift safely. Her face changed. "Derek, you said he was almost finished." "He is almost finished." "Another 30 minutes, max." "It's Christmas Eve," she said quietly. "And it's a business." Frank doesn't understand because he couldn't keep his own business running. Wrong thing to say. I've taken a lot of hits in my life, dealt with failure, bankruptcy, the shame of not being able to provide for my son. But Derek, using my business troubles to justify child labor, crossed every line. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "Tyler's coming with me for Christmas dinner. Then we're having a conversation about what's been going on. Tyler works for me now, has a job, earns money, learns skills, more than you've given him lately. Tyler's in school. He doesn't need a job." Derek laughed. "School's not teaching him anything useful. Kid was failing anyway. Better off learning a trade." Tyler was failing? I looked at Lisa. "Since when?" Lisa looked uncomfortable. "His grades dropped this semester." Derek thought hands-on work might help him focus. The pieces started clicking together. Tyler's grades drop probably from exhaustion. Derek convinces Lisa that work will help Tyler focus. Tyler gets more tired from working, grades drop further. Derek uses the poor grades to justify more work. A perfect cycle of control. So instead of getting him tutoring, you put him to work construction? "It's working," Derek said. Kid's more focused, more respectful, understands consequences now. What kind of consequences? Derek's smile got colder. When Tyler doesn't meet his work quota, he loses privileges. No phone, no TV, no weekend visits with Daddy. Simple cause and effect. There it was. Derek wasn't just exploiting Tyler's labor. He was using psychological control tactics. Isolation, punishment, and threats to cut Tyler off from me if he didn't comply. Lisa, can I talk to you alone? Anything you need to say, you can say in front of me, Derek said. Actually, I can't. I looked at Lisa. 5 minutes. On the porch. Lisa hesitated. I could see the conflict in her face. Part of her knew something was wrong, but Derek had been providing security, stability, things I couldn't offer when my business failed. Derek, just give us a few minutes, she said. Derek didn't like it, but he stepped aside. Outside, I could see Tyler still working, moving slower now, clearly exhausted. When did this start? I asked. September. Tyler's grades were slipping. He was acting out. Derek offered to give him structure. Structure means working construction in freezing rain on Christmas Eve. He still goes to school. This is just after school and weekends. Lisa, it's 9:30 p.m. Look at him. She looked, and I saw her really see Tyler for the first time in months. Soaked, shivering, struggling with materials that grown men handle with machinery. Derek said it would build character, Lisa said, but her voice was getting smaller. Does this look like character building to you? Lisa, when's the last time Tyler talked about college, about basketball, about anything that wasn't work? She was quiet for a long moment, watching Tyler struggle with a piece of equipment designed for adult workers. I can't remember. Because Derek's systematically destroying Tyler's confidence and ambition, making him think he's not smart enough for college, not good enough for anything except manual labor. That's when Lisa started crying. Not the loud kind, just tears running down her face while she watched our son work in conditions that would violate every OSHA regulation on the books. I thought Derek was helping. Tyler seemed more focused, less rebellious. He seemed focused because he was too exhausted to cause trouble. Lisa, how many hours a week is Tyler working? I don't know. Derek handles Tyler's schedule. Before she could answer, Derek opened the door. Conversation's over. Tyler has work to finish. No, I said. Tyler's done working tonight. Tyler works for me. You don't get a say. That's when Tyler appeared around the corner, dragging a piece of scaffolding that was clearly too heavy for him. He looked between all of us, terror written all over his face. Put that down and get in my truck, I told him. He's not going anywhere, Derek said. I looked at Derek, then at Tyler, then made a decision. Tyler, you have 10 seconds to choose. You can get in my truck and have Christmas dinner with your father, or you can keep working construction in the rain for Derek, but this is the last time you'll have to choose. Dad, please don't make me choose. You shouldn't have to choose. That's the point. Tyler looked at Derek, who was staring at him with the kind of expression that probably kept the kid awake at night. Then Tyler looked at me. What happens if I go with you? We have dinner. We talk. We figure out how to fix this. Derek says if I cause trouble, I won't be able to see you anymore. Derek doesn't get to decide when you see your father. That's when Derek stepped forward. Actually, I do. I'm the one providing for this family, giving the kids structure and discipline. You show up once a week playing the fun dad, then disappear. I show up every week because that's what the custody agreement says. And I'm here right now because my son is being exploited. Your son is learning what real work looks like. My son is 16 years old working in dangerous conditions, in the rain, at night, on Christmas Eve. That's not work. That's child abuse. The word hung in the air. Derek's face went dark. You need to leave. Now. Not without Tyler. Tyler's not going anywhere. Lisa, tell him. Lisa looked at Tyler, still holding the scaffolding, water dripping off his clothes. Tyler, put that down and come inside. You're done working tonight. Derek's face went red. He's not done. We have a commercial job starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow. That scaffolding needs to be loaded tonight. It's Christmas Day, Lisa said louder this time. Work doesn't stop for Christmas. Tyler signed an agreement. He works when I tell him to work. Tyler's 16. He can't sign a legal work agreement. Derek smiled, ugly and cold. Kid's been working without permits, no safety training. Technically, both of you are violating child labor laws. especially since you knew he was working and didn't report it. There it was. Derek had set this up so that if anyone tried to stop him, they'd be the ones in legal trouble. Classic abuser tactic. Make the victim complicit in their own abuse. Tyler, get in my truck, now. Tyler dropped the scaffolding and ran to my truck. Derek started after him, but I stepped in his way. Move, Derek said. No, that boy belongs here. He's learning responsibility. He's learning to be afraid of you. Derek stepped closer, lowering his voice so Lisa couldn't hear. You think you can just take him? I've got documentation on every hour he's worked. Photos, time logs, everything. Kid's been violating labor laws for months. One call to Child Protective Services, and Tyler gets taken away from both of you. Smart. Derek had documented Tyler's illegal work to use as blackmail against anyone who tried to stop him. But Derek made one mistake. He assumed I'd choose protecting myself over protecting my son. Make the call, I said. What? Call CPS. Show them your photos of a 16-year-old working construction without permits. Show them your time logs of Tyler working 30 hours a week during school. Show them documentation of child labor violations. Derek's confidence wavered. He'd been so focused on having evidence against Tyler, he hadn't considered that the same evidence proved his own crimes. Lisa, I said, you need to choose, right now, your son or Derek. Lisa looked at Derek, then at Tyler sitting in my truck, then back at Derek. Derek, maybe Frank's right. Maybe Tyler should have Christmas off. If Tyler leaves with Frank tonight, he doesn't come back. Neither do you. Derek, don't say that. I mean it. I'm not running a charity for ungrateful kids and their deadbeat fathers. That's when Lisa finally heard what I'd been seeing all along. Derek wasn't protecting Tyler or teaching him responsibility. He was controlling him, and he was willing to throw out both Tyler and Lisa to maintain that control. Tyler's my son, Lisa said quietly, and this is my house, my rules. Lisa walked to my truck and got in the passenger seat. Derek stood in his doorway watching his Christmas dinner get cold as I drove away with his free labor and his wife. In the truck, nobody spoke for the first few miles. Tyler sat in the back, still wet and shivering. Lisa stared out the window. I focused on driving and tried to figure out what came next. Finally, Tyler spoke. Dad, Derek's going to be really mad. Derek's mad because he lost his free worker. It wasn't free. He paid me sometimes. How much? Tyler was quiet for a moment. $5 an hour, when he remembered. $5 an hour for dangerous construction work, less than half minimum wage. And Derek remembered to pay him sometimes. Tyler, how many hours a week were you working? I don't know. After school? Weekends? Some mornings before school when Derek had early jobs? Maybe 30 hours? Sometimes more. Lisa turned around, pale. I thought it was just a few hours here and there. Derek said if I complained, you'd think I was ungrateful. He said you couldn't afford to take care of me without his help, so I had to earn my keep. I pulled over and turned around. Son, Derek was lying. You don't have to earn your keep. You're our kid. Tyler started crying then, not loud, just tears. I was scared if I didn't work hard enough, Derek would make me leave, and I wouldn't see either of you anymore. Lisa climbed in the back seat with Tyler. We sat there for 10 minutes while Tyler let out months of fear and exhaustion. When Tyler calmed down, I started driving again. We're going to fix this, I said, all of it. We went back to my place. Tyler took a hot shower while Lisa and I talked. She looked like she'd been carrying weight for months and finally got to set it down. I didn't know it was this bad, she said. Derek's smart. He made it look like help. Tyler's grades did improve initially. He seemed more focused, because he was too tired to cause trouble. Lisa, the kid was working 30 hours a week on top of school. Of course he seemed focused. He was running on empty. Lisa sat down at my kitchen table. I thought Derek was good for us. Stable, responsible. Derek is responsible. He's responsible for exploiting our son. Tyler came downstairs looking more like himself, still tired but not defeated. Dad, what happens to Derek's job tomorrow? Not your problem, son. But he said the client was counting on it. I looked at Tyler, still worried about Derek's business after everything. Tyler, Derek's been telling you a lot of things. Most of them weren't true. We talked until midnight. Tyler told us about Derek's systematic control, gradually increasing work hours, using grades as justification, threatening to cut off contact with me, making Tyler feel guilty for basic needs like food and shelter. Derek wasn't done. 5 days later, I got a call from the State Labor Board. Someone had reported me for using underage workers on construction sites. The inspector wanted to meet and review my records. Derek's revenge. He couldn't control Tyler anymore, so he was trying to destroy my chances of rebuilding my business. The inspector was Sarah Martinez, thorough and professional. She went through my employee records, safety protocols, job sites, found everything in order because I've always followed the rules. Mr. Mitchell, we received a report that you've been using your son as unpaid labor. My son has never worked construction for me. The report included photos. She showed me pictures on her phone. Tyler, working construction. But not my sites, Derek's sites. Those weren't taken at my job sites. Check the metadata, the location data. Tyler was working for Derek Lawson, not me. Why would someone report you for Mr. Lawson's violations? Because Derek's mad that I stopped him from exploiting my son. Ms. Martinez looked at the photos more carefully. If what you're saying is true, we need to talk to your son and his mother. An hour later, Tyler told Ms. Martinez everything. The long hours, dangerous work, below minimum wage pay, threats about not seeing me. Lisa confirmed Derek had convinced her this was normal character-building work. Ms. Martinez took detailed notes. Mr. Mitchell, these photos show clear violations of child labor laws. Dangerous equipment, no safety gear, work hours that interfere with education. Mr. Lawson is in serious trouble. The investigation took 6 weeks. Derek's construction business was shut down pending resolution. He was facing $50,000 in fines, possible criminal charges, and a civil lawsuit from Lisa for unpaid wages and endangerment. Derek called once, drunk, threatening to ruin all of us. I recorded the call and sent it to Ms. Martinez and the police. Derek stopped calling. Tyler went back to school full-time. His grades improved immediately. Turns out when you're not exhausted from working construction, you can focus on algebra. He started talking about college again, engineering programs, maybe even military academies like his old man. Lisa got a better job at a different hospital, moved into an apartment 10 minutes from my house. Derek moved back to Cleveland to live with his sister. 18 months later, Tyler made honor roll. 2 years later, he got accepted to a military academy prep program. Not the instant transformation Derek had promised, but real growth built on support instead of exploitation. Last month, Tyler graduated from the prep program. He's 18 now, headed to the Air Force Academy in the fall with plans to study aerospace engineering. The night before he left, we sat on my back porch talking about the future. Dad, what if you hadn't come that night? You'd probably still be working construction for $5 an hour. But why did you risk it? Derek could have made real trouble. I looked at my son, strong and confident now. Tyler, sometimes you have to choose between doing what's safe and doing what's right. That night, keeping you safe was more important than keeping me safe. I want to be that kind of father someday. You will be. Because you know what protection feels like. Sometimes the right choice isn't the easy choice, but it's always worth making.